Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay. So the first is to approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of November 28th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon? Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner
Right.
That's for the work session, not Saturday.
And then also, if I could get a motion to approve the minutes for the work session, also on the 28th of 17.
Make a motion.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool?
Yep.
Commissioner Spudler?
Right.
On December 18th, Dave approved and executed a service contract with Impoliti Landscaping to perform irrigation and maintenance as needed for the Red Simmons Memorial in front of the jail over there, in an amount not to exceed $2,000 for January 2018 through December 2019. He also approved and executed the service contract with Independent Tree Company to perform tree maintenance services as needed for Geauga County properties for the period of January 2018 through January 2020, in an amount not to exceed $10,000.
Okay, so for financials, morning, Adrian.
Morning.
Okay, today's financials include a cash transfer from the general fund to the common police court pre-sentence investigation fund for payroll advance due to grant funding not yet received from the state in the amount of $3,500, the amount of which shall be paid back once grant funds become available or no later than December 18th of 2018. Also, a cash transfer from the general fund to the liability self-insurance fund in the amount of $10,000 to fund upcoming liability insurance payments over the next year. Encumbrances include an encumbrance increase from the Department on Aging to Cherished Companions Home Care. And among the vouchers are $20,000, $816.25 from Community Development to the 15332 Old State Road Properties for a revolving loan fund project. Also $43,553.50 from the engineer's office to Roniak Paving Incorporated for roadway improvements at various locations. That's an Ohio Public Works contract. And also $19,885 from Water Resources to Geauga Coatings for repairs to Kimberly Wastewater Treatment Plant.
Do you know how, for Jives Family Services, MHATAS? Do you know what it is?
That is the Family First Council. That's their share of, that's their part of the share for the youth center.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I wasn't.
it's a quarterly payment that they make.
Good.
Tim, I think,
Yep.
yeah, she
Yep.
said that you.
That's right. And the budget for 18 is gonna be identical as last year. They're on a different fiscal calendar than we are, I think, there, so.
That's the $32,000 one that you were asking about?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any questions? The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute resolution number 17-157, itemizing the financials for the meeting of December 19th, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool?
Mhm.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you. Yes. They're stuck in the stack.
What time is the hearing, 9:30?
Hearing is at 9:10, so we have a few minutes before it starts if we wanna.
Okay, why don't we do the,
We might be able to get through all of them.
we still have a couple more minutes before the public hearing is scheduled to start, so let's take the engineer's office for the next items.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Next couple items are actually to do some housekeeping. There was a subdivision that was built in 2009, was never completed as the developer went belly up. So the property was purchased, it's gone through planning commission. So item number 6 is to request the board approve, execute the request for establishment of a drainage maintenance district for 6137 for Hunting Valley Preserve.
You want to do these individual, Mike, or do you want?
I can do them in alone.
Do you want to do them?
Yeah, let's just do them all together, that's fine.
And then I'll do 6 and 7 together because 6, 7, and 8. Number 7 is to approve and authorize the county auditor to establish a new stormwater fund 5021 for the drainage maintenance district. And 8 is requesting the board approve and transfer $2,100 from an existing drainage maintenance district for the previous subdivision that was never built. I want to clean that one up. It was called Huntington Ridge, which wasn't even correct in the paperwork. So we want to close that one out, so we want to transfer that over. And then number 9 would ask the commissioners to close the Huntington Ridge Drainage Maintenance District Fund.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute the request for establishment of a drainage maintenance district pursuant to RC 6131.63, established sequence in 6137 for Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in Chester Township. The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize the county auditor to establish a new stormwater fund 502100600603 for the Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision drainage maintenance district. The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve the transfer of $2,100 from the Huntington Ridge Drainage Maintenance District Fund 501900600603 to the new fund for the Hunting Valley Preserve Drainage Maintenance District. The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve the closure of the Huntington Ridge Drainage Maintenance District Fund 501900600603.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Items 10 and 11, these are our standard procedures for a subdivision. The first is requesting the board accept and execute the maintenance agreement for Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in the amount of $50,000. This is our guarantee that all work will be complete and per the specs. Item number 11, the surface has not been completed on the subdivision yet. It was never completely finished, and that's normal standard operating procedure. This is requesting the board accept and execute the paving guarantee for the Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision, $45,000. That covers the surface, any repairs that will need to be made before the surface, the berm, basically putting the road to its final completion for the township to take it over under maintenance.
Okay, so if we could do those together.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board accept and execute the maintenance guarantee for the Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in Chester Township to be held by the county engineer in the amount of $50,000. The county engineer's office is requesting the board accept and execute the agreement, paving guarantee for Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in Chester Township to be held by the county engineer in the amount of $45,000.
So moved.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Item number 12 is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 17158, approving the annual assessment on improvements. This is for the drainage maintenance district. This is the assessment for the 13 parcels.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 17-158, approving annual assessment on improvements in the Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in Chester Township, Geauga County, under the authority of the county by code 6137.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
We're almost there. Item 13, county engineers, we're requesting the board approve and execute the dedication plat dedicating Hunting Ridge, Township Road 1064.
So the county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute the dedication plat dedicating Hunting Ridge TR 1064.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
With the approval of 13, final item 14, requesting the board accept Hunting Ridge, Township Road 1064 for snow and ice removal only by Chester Township. And the only is until the pavement, the surface is done for full maintenance. At that point in time, we'll accept it for full maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, that is the whole entire motion that Nick just read, so do you want to reread
Yep.
it or no?
If you want to, that's fine.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board accept Hunting Ridge TR 1064 for snow and ice removal only by Chester Township.
So moved.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Christine, if you could make sure the flag goes to the planning commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna go back to
Yes.
number 5. It's 10 after for Commissioner's Office to hold a public hearing at 9:10 regarding the proposal to vacate the public right-of-way upon a portion Doty Road, TR-532, in an unnamed, non-numbered road in Parkman Township. So if we want to go ahead and request or make a motion to waive the reading.
Probably the motion. Will we or not?
Some second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner Claire?
Aye.
Okay, Tim.
Okay. Do you need to do for Randy also or no?
Yeah, well, we should just do everybody.
So if anybody is here that wants to speak on behalf of this and in this public hearing, I just would need you to raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And what's your name for the record?
Richard Gates? I do.
Anyone from the township going to be speaking?
I confirm too.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna officially then begin. So Andy, do you want to start it off?
Well, last Thursday we had a on-site viewing, which was attended by commissioners, trustees, and Mr. Gates, and myself. And many things were discussed about the vacation of both the portion of Doty and the unnamed, unnumbered north-south road. And concerns were raised about ultimately what rights were involved being affected and or extinguished. It's what my takeaway was from the whole thing.
Excuse me, could you speak up a little bit?
Yes.
Thank you, sorry.
Where should I start? Should I rewind?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm basically reviewing what happened last Thursday at the viewing on site with Mr. Gates, the Township Commissioners. What was discussed about the portion of Doty to be vacated as well as the north-south road, unnamed, not numbered. Basically, in a nutshell, to summarize it, there was concerns about what rights were being vacated in the nutshell. That seems to be the issue that came up at hand, and what could be done about that. Whether commissioners would proceed with vacating just the north-south, unnamed, non-numbered, and discussing the portion of Doty and or not performing the vacation of Doty. That's where we're at as from last Thursday. And after that, that's why we're here today, to hear out. My understanding is what was viewed on Thursday, this is the place to discuss them in detail. What issues there may be.
So let me interject here, because we were there and having some discussion. I'll embellish a little bit to this conversation. The the unnamed road, I think there was a general feeling that one, there's no harm created in vacating that when it's not used, and actually the harm to the landowner, because that road goes down through the landowner's property. There is harm there because people get to use it. It's an unnamed road, so to speak. And so there didn't seem to be any harm created in vacating that one. I think there was a general consensus or feeling that could be done easily and should be done. The one for Mr. Gates, however, appeared a little different. We wanted to get some legal opinion or some thought on this. That as a road has value, even though it's unimproved. It's not an existing road, it's a paper road, but its value to Mr. Gates in that it is enhances the saleability of his property.
In the future?
In the future, that's right. Should he choose to do something with that property, that unnamed, or that existing paper road as value.
And is that parcel currently, it's just one parcel right now?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many acres is that?
it's about 80 acres.
80 acres? And may I ask a few questions?
Sure, can I continue my thought, or
Sure.
just finish my statement?
Sure.
So, relative to the impact of vacating that segment, there is a detrimental impact to Mr. Gates potentially in that we're removing that value from his property. If at some point in time in the future he wanted to do something with that property, that road could give him access to that property or access to those that he might want to provide that property to. And therefore, we want to weigh whether or not removing that value from the property impacting Mr. Gates is something we want to do or not. And so the big question's got to be, how, let's say that we did vacate it, what would be the legal right to create another road for Mr. Gates if he wanted to go in there and set up a road? What's the legal process to do that? How complicated is that? Is it less complicated than just letting this paper road stay in existence? It's really had nominal impact over the years. I don't see, observing, I wasn't seeing an enormous amount of traffic out there other than the deer and the rabbits that were going through the property. And so it didn't seem there was a detrimental impact today on that small segment. It's a relatively small segment of road. So anyway, that was my takeaway from visiting that site, that Mr. Gates, who owns that piece of property, would be impacted, and it's a relatively small segment.
Sure.
So, anyway, go ahead.
Mr. Gates, my name is Laura LaChapelle. I'm with the Geauga County Prosecutor's Office. I'm the attorney for the Geauga County Commissioners. Just for purposes of getting a little bit more information in the record, if you don't mind,
No.
I can just ask you a few questions. How many years have you owned the parcel?
It's actually owned by my father. He's owned it since the 80s.
Okay.
He inherited it from my grandfather.
And so your grandfather owned it before him?
Yes.
So how long has it been in the family, arguably?
Since 57.
Okay. And it's remained intact as an 80-acre-ish parcel
It's,
for the most part?
well, it was a 250-acre parcel. We broke it into four parcels a
Okay.
few years ago.
Okay, how many years ago was that?
About three years ago.
Okay, all right. And do you have any plans at this time to develop the parcel?
Not as a development. I have had inquiries about purchasing a lot
Okay.
down there.
Okay. And if a portion of Doty, if the section of Doty Road in question and/or the unnamed, unnumbered roads are vacated, will that landlock your parcel?
It will not landlock the parcel.
And has Doty Road that is in question and the unnamed, unnumbered road, have either of those roads been used by the traveling public as a street in the last 10, 20, 30 years?
No.
And are there any homes along either of those roads that may need fire or emergency services?
Not what we're talking about vacating. No,
Correct.
there's not.
And are either of those roads needed by school buses or postal services or any other services?
No.
And the only place the roads exist, for the most part, are on the county maps? Because there really aren't any roads there.
Yes,
The path.
yeah.
So for the most part, you don't want those roads vacated because you want ingress or egress to your property in the future if there's a possible subdivision that may go in, but we just don't know if that's going to happen or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Laura, let me get clarification from Mr. Gates, because I think we need to separate the unnamed, unnumbered road from the segment we're talking about on Doty. It's two separate issues.
I understand.
The unnamed, unnumbered road, I don't think there's any disagreement that could be vacated by, Mr. Gates wouldn't have an
Correct.
issue with that. That's on
Correct.
another person's property, not an issue.
Right.
We're really talking about the small segment of Doty, and that, just to reinforce this concept, I mean, it's not been used, which actually makes the case for leaving it as it stands, but it does have value in the piece of property that he has, because it could potentially be used. And removing that then means it's gonna be an additional cost and additional complication should Mr. Gates ever in the future decide he wants to do something there. And so that's just the point that I wanna make. While it may seem that I'm we're leaning a particular direction, I'm trying to keep an open mind on it, but it is important that we recognize the reality of that segment of road for the person that happens to live there.
Sure.
So,
I didn't realize I was going to need to
And
speak. May I
actually-
be sworn in?
Sure. State your name?
John Ferguson?
John Ferguson, do you
Trustee.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I pulled up a GIS map that will help you better see what's going on. I think you guys have already
Go
seen
ahead.
it.
I have.
Do you have one?
Mhm.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
Can I just, I just want to clarify, for those that are in attendance today, the Parkland Township trustees submitted their petition to the commissioners for, to vacate the portion of Doty TR 532, beginning at a point located approximately 1,345 feet east of the intersection of said Doty Road and Nelson Road, east to its terminus in the vacation of, in its entirety, of the unnamed and not unnumbered road, as described in Volume B, page 246 of the Geauga County Engineers Road Records in Parkland Township, beginning at the current easterly terminus of Doty Road to a southerly terminus at the Portage County line. I just wanted to clarify that the petition that we received from Parkland Township included both portions. My understanding is that there is a possible provision in the law that allows the commissioners to modify what is being petitioned, if it warrants it. Obviously, because Skip is clarifying that he wants to separate these out, but I just want to clarify that it was put together, petitioned as one piece. We did receive a letter from the other property owner, Kyle Wagamon, who has a statement that he would like read. It says, "Dear Geauga County Board of Commissioners, I am writing in regards to the motion to vacate the public right-of-way on a portion of Doty Road and the unnamed non-numbered road running south of the Portage County line that are both in Parkland Township. I own the southern side of the portion of Doty Road in the motion and both sides of the unnamed non-numbered road until just north of the Portage County line. I am unable to attend the public hearing, so I am writing this letter to communicate my opinion on the matter. I purchased my property in March of this year and am currently building a house for my family to live there. I would like to extend my wishes to pass the motion and have all portions of both roads in the motion vacated. The roads have not been in use for over 100 years, and they are so extensively overgrown that there is no trace of the roads that were originally present. In addition, I do not want a public road extended down the northern border of my property, as it would open up the possibility for a development to go in, which would not only take away from my family's enjoyment of my property, but also negatively affect its value. Please take this opinion into consideration at the public hearing. Sincerely, Kyle Wagamon."
So is it true that the property owner could mandate the township to build out that road?
According to Sheila Salem, our assistant prosecutor, no. I confirmed that with her when we first submitted this. The mandamus can only be issued to maintain an existing road.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah,
Joe,
Joe
then
Patel,
sworn in, I
County
don't know if
Engineer.
it makes a difference.
It's our understanding, and
hit Laura.
this
Does
is
he need to be
obviously a legal
sworn in?
realm, so Laura's gonna have to address it, not myself, but we've been,
You can swear him in if you want, that's fine.
If you raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
This is more of a legal aspect. What we're asking for today is to vacate the public's right to that property and easement. We are not trying to extinguish any private property owners' rights. Currently, they own the rights of ingress and egress in any property. Let's say you split a couple lots off the frontage of that, they would still maintain ingress and egress rights. It would just be the public that doesn't have rights to that, and thereby not being a township right away anymore. However, that would still be those rights. We're not extinguishing those rights because in order for us to take the rights away from the individuals, we would have to compensate them for it. So that's the opinion we've been given in the past on the vacations, including if there's already utilities present, or if utilities want to go down there to service any homes that need to be down there. That's what we've been given. That was the legal opinion we've been operating under for years at the county engineer's office, but Laura would have to speak to that. I obviously can't convey the law.
For the most part, whatever rights that the abutting property owners have under the law, they would retain. The Board of County Commissioners can't give them any additional rights than they already have under the law. And obviously can't take away any rights that they have as well. So that's generally what we operate under. And I agree with Joe. The board's duties today are just to address the public right-of-way and decide whether they're going to vacate that public right-of-way, which therefore would, leave a private road, if there's any road there.
I mean, the possibility to develop and still put a road in there, even if we vacate, they can still do that. I mean, in the future, that ability's still there, correct? I mean,
Sure.
So I don't think we're really hamstringing them, the property owner in that.
And as the board knows, the standard is public convenience and welfare. So if they feel it's in the public convenience and welfare to retain the public right-of-way,
Okay.
or if it's not in the public convenience and welfare, then obviously to vacate
Okay.
the road.
And we're not making a decision today, we're just having a hearing.
You still have time to be for.
Okay.
Mr. Gates, did you want to say anything? You haven't really.
Just, I guess just that it was 700 feet we're talking about there, just that much. Already have maybe close to 400 feet. And we'd just like to keep access to that extra 700 to allow me to put a couple more lots back in there.
So, Laura, just to clarify, the way that my mind works on this is there is an existing paper road there. That paper road can be improved by Mr. Gates, making it a road, and then the township would maintain it, as I understand this. And so the advantage is that it's existing road, it's already designed in the system, it's already in the paper, and so there's no additional design, legal stuff that has to be done, other than Mr. Gates would improve the road. And if we vacated the road, half of the road would go to one landowner, half of the land would go to the other landowner, and then at some future date, if Mr. Gates wanted to put a road in there, he could do that. He would have to do it solely on his piece of property. He would now have to go and legally define the road to put in, create the surveying and so on and so forth necessary to make that road exist. Then he could put in the road. I'm not sure how that would impact then the township's rights or the township involvement on that personal road. That was one of the questions that came up the other day. This public road could be improved by Mr. Gates, and then the township would be required to maintain it.
Correct.
Whereas the private road Mr. Gates might create on his property, I don't know what the legal implication of that is for the township at some future date. So
And
I think
that's really another issue, but Andy, if I may, when was the road dedicated
The road,
initially?
Doty Road itself was dedicated in 1835.
So that
was
road has existed only in paper form since 1835, and
Just to be clear, that was an
Correct.
easement. You own to the center of Doty proper.
Correct.
Itself.
So that was a
It's
very
wetland
long time
use.
ago.
So the road, the easement, public highway, right away goes over the property. That's what's being extinguished.
Correct.
By the.
Joe.
Yeah, Commissioner Claypool, while he was going through that scenario, one issue with that is maybe I wasn't clear. Mr. Gates would still retain ingress and egress rights, not only on that part vacated back to him, but also on his neighbors. He doesn't lose those rights that he currently has. We can't extinguish those. So that entire, is it a 60-foot currently, Andy?
It is 60
That
feet.
entire 60-foot, he still has ingress and egress rights on it. He could have utilities run down it and so forth.
Now, how does that exist, Joe? Is that an easement there or something? I mean, if we vacated it, doesn't it go back to the landowners and then you don't have those rights?
You're looking at it as a piece of property with full rights. It's not. We currently own a highway easement on it.
Mhm.
He owns the property. His neighbor owns the property. They own them in fee. We, through the dedication process, we acquire some of those rights from them. All we're doing is giving them the rights back.
I see.
But we're not taking their rights away. We're actually giving the property back to them, releasing our rights to the property.
Okay,
Public.
that makes sense.
Confusing as all get out.
And we can talk
Yeah,
about
that
it.
makes sense.
I mean, honestly, I can address that issue with you outside the hearing. That's not a problem.
Would you be in concurrence with that, Laura? I mean, that's more of a law issue.
Yeah, and we can talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
okay.
Thank you. Anybody else, or any other comments?
We'll close the public hearing at 9:31.
Okay. So when do we make the decision on that, Christie?
We have until, you can either do it next Thursday, you can do it on the January 4th, or the last option would be January 9th.
Okay.
So we have 3 more meetings before,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good day.
Okay.
Kelly is here, going back to number 15 and 16.
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Morning. How are you?
Hi. Hope you all make it over for a little bit of breakfast.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna get there this morning.
Is there anything left?
Where's it? You guys on building 8? or
Yeah,
no?
right, no, in our room,
Oh,
in our office.
okay, good. I'll be there.
Great.
There's
Stuff.
food?
Yeah, if there's anything
Yeah,
left.
I know, right? I'm here today to put through the the CDBG revolving loan fund agreement. This is housekeeping. We do this every 2 years for the state agreement to run our revolving loan fund, stating the ins and outs of our agreement to loan the money out for our revolving loan fund clients, and a resolution along with it.
Okay.
So the first portion is all of you, and the second is the agreement, and that's just you. The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 17-159, authorizing Geauga County to enter into economic development revolving loan fund administration agreement with the State of Ohio Development Services Agency. The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the revolving loan fund administration agreement between the State of Ohio Development Services Agency and the Geauga County Board of Commissioners for the period January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2020.
Make that motion?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Mr. Claypool? Commissioner Spudler?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mike. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Where are you off to for Christmas break?
No, this year I'm staying home.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, normally go somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm staying home.
Go work on your tan.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'd like to be working on
Yeah.
that. Ready, Joe? I'll wait till you're done signing.
No, go ahead, that's fine.
Relax away there.
Go ahead.
Number 17, our usual yearly grant application for 5311 funds from the, administered through ODOT from the FTA. And you can see the amount for next year, January 1st through December 31st for operating and capital items, $906,655. And that's includes our capitalized maintenance, roughly $550,000 that we can draw down upon for operating, and then $166,000 rounded number that the state gives us as local cash. So that's what that includes.
Any of that include the Tiger grant?
No, that's it. The Tiger grant is a totally separate grant for us. You guys have approved that already. It's in place now, so we're using the funds.
The Transit Department is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Ohio Department of Transportation Rural Transit Program 2018 grant contract between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners and the State of Ohio Department of Transportation for the period January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018, in the amount of $906,625 for eligible operating and capital items.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice holiday.
Thank you, Mike. You do the same. 18.